Somebody said Rich Paul be working at Walmart if he wasn't LeBron's friend. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope all of you had a great weekend. Hope all of you had a great Sunday. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. I don't know if it's just me, but it feels like the month of June, it flew by. July 4th, it's only a couple of days away. If you do participate in that, be safe, but that is not why you're here. I've gathered all of you here today to talk about no other than good old Bronny James. As most of you know, we are officially in the time frame of the worst time to be a sports fan. Just sports in general, not even a specific one. For the next 7 weeks, there's no college sports, there's no NFL, there's no NBA, and even if you're a hockey fan, there's none of that. The only thing's going on is MLB. And I don't mean this in a bad way, it's just reality. There's not as many Major League Baseball fans as there is for football and basketball. The reason I even bring that up is because here's where I'm going with all of this. Since there hasn't been a lot going on, the past couple of days, the talk of the town has been Bronny James. This was I don't want to say extremely weak NBA draft class because I respect all those players immensely, all the hard work they put in, and who knows, this may turn out to be a really good draft class. But we didn't have those heavyweights at the top. We didn't have a lot of your household name guys like a Victor Wembanyama, a Brandon Miller, guys like that we normally have in every draft. You know a couple of the guys really well that are going 1 and 2. And now that I think about it, I still can't believe till this day Scoot Henderson went as high as he did. I was telling people from this jump, I didn't understand all the hype around him, but that's a different video for a different day as well. And whether you wanted it to be this way or not, it's what happened. I'd say 60% of the people that were keeping up with the NBA draft and tuning into it were just watching because of Bronny James. That's it. The amount of tweets I saw, not just like random tweets, but viral tweets going around saying, oh my gosh, when's Bronny going to be picked? He's the only reason I'm watching. It was through the roof. And look, I was doing the same, partner. I'm in the same boat as you. At least that is for the second round. Nobody with a functioning brain cell thought he was going to get selected in the first round. That just wasn't going to happen. But when that second round started, I was like, oh yeah, it's showtime. I got to see every single pick because who knows, the Lakers might trade up or something might happen. Fast forward time a little bit, the Lakers was the 55th overall pick. You know what I'm about to say next. If you weren't living under a rock these past couple of days, they select no other than Bronny James. These past couple of days, I've been paying attention. I've been sitting back and watching, taking notes of what people have been saying about this. Some people out here, they get it, but I've come to find out a lot of others don't. This isn't the original meme, but somebody just reposted it. This was something that was going all over Twitter. On the left here, it's Bronny, and on the right, it is Boogie Ellis, his teammate, who went undrafted. Bronny averaged 4.8 points per game. Boogie Ellis averaged 16.5 points per game. Bronny averaged 2.8 rebounds per game. Ellis, 3.5. Bronny averaged 2.1 assists per game. Ellis, 3.0. And you know what I'm about to say next, what everybody's saying. Oh my goodness, how did his teammate, who was way better than him, go undrafted and Bronny was picked with the 55th overall pick? This is unfair, this isn't right, this is nepotism, blah, 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 blah. You know what all these randeezies are saying on Twitter. I didn't really care too much about that because y'all know how I feel about this whole nepotism situation. If you don't, feel free to check out the recent video. I'm not explaining it again. Not fair to all the people that have been watching and keeping up with my takes on Bronny and the Lakers. However, with that being said, the one thing that has really inclined me to make this video is a terrible take that everybody has. And I believe, as a matter of fact, I've seen people comment this in the comment section of our videos. Let me try to find one. Okay, I found one of them just scrolling. This is from Gary Garrett. Shout out to Gary for commenting this. In my opinion, the Lakers just wasted, remember that word, wasted a second round 55th pick with Bronny. Just to keep Dad happy. Maybe the kid will prove me wrong. And by the way, the opponent Shamanat is he's referring to the video. But the whole point is this first half of this comment, they wasted a pick. That is the one take that's not up for debate. You're just wrong, and I'm going to explain why. Everybody's saying, oh yeah, well, I understand nepotism, that's all cool and all, but the Lakers just throwing away a second round pick, that's stupid. I don't want to rant on this too much because I really want to get into this Bronny James and John Smith situation that we're about to get into after this argument. To the people that are saying the Lakers just threw away a second round pick, they wasted it, however you want to word it, you're wrong. We've talked about this for years on the channel involving college football. I know we sort of have like two separate niches on the channel with the football fans and the basketball fans, but we do have a portion of you guys, by the way, shout out to y'all, that watch the basketball and football videos, and I greatly appreciate that. But for the people that haven't been hearing what I've been saying on the college football side of things, it's the same thing for basketball. Money runs the world, and the quicker you can understand that, I don't mean just like say you understand it, I mean really understand that, The quicker everything else in this life and everything you experience is going to make sense. Almost every decision that is made, whether it's minor or major in this life, it involves money. You can say all you want, well, Matt, I don't think Bronny James is a good basketball player. You can talk all you want about his basketball abilities. But when it comes to talking about the Lakers picking him at 55, that was not a bad take. And you can argue and say it was one of, if not the best picks in the entire draft from a business perspective. I don't want to sit up here and say I thought it was common knowledge, but I thought more people would be in tune with this and what's going on in the world. The Lakers selecting Bronny, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, much respect to the kid, but it had nothing to do with his game whatsoever, not even to the slightest. It had everything to do with his dad and the business side of things. Do you know how much money the Lakers made by selecting Bronny? Do you know how many more people are going to be tuning into their games, buying their merchandise, and just all that stuff? It's going to create so much more revenue. The Lakers aren't just one of the biggest brands in the United States. They're one of the biggest brands in the world. This was nothing more, nothing less than a strategic business move. Let me give you an example. Do you know how many people next year are going to go, oh my goodness, it's the Lakers' first game tonight. I got to see what Bronny does. I got to see if he gets in the game. That's the only argument I'm going to need. It's similar to Colorado football. Everybody's like, oh man, I got to see what Coach Prime's going to do there. Plus, too, I really like this comment from Clarence. He stated, no one has ever cared about the 55th pick until now. Stop it. That's another thing. There's not even too much value with one of the last picks in the NBA draft in the first place. It goes back to what I was saying. You could argue and say, business-wise, I'm not talking about basketball-wise, but business-wise, this was one of the best picks in the draft. Money runs the world, and I'm not going to turn this into a conspiracy theory video, although you guys really like those, and we need to do one in the near future, because I try to do one per summer. Let me know in the comment section if you want to see another. But it's like they say with the Roman circus. The NBA and NFL, all these major league sports teams, are made to distract us from all the other craziness going on in the world. Not even going to get into all that. We may come back to some of that later in this video. Let's talk about what I easily find the most intriguing part of this entire video. This was also going viral on Twitter, and it involved no other than Bronny. So apparently and allegedly, Rich Paul, which is Bronny's agent, has stated that Bronny would be in the NBA even if his name was quote-unquote John Smith. Yeah, that's a really hot take, and I'm curious. I want to know what you guys think about that down below in the comments. For me, myself, y'all know this, give you the quick run through. I am higher on Bronny James than most people. I like his game. I think he fits the modern era of the NBA. I do. Do I think he's going to be an all-star caliber player averaging 15 points per game? Absolutely not. That's not going to happen. I think his ceiling in this league is a 6th man, and his floor is going to be like a 9th or 10th man. He's a really good shooter. I'm not going to say great, but really good. If he's open, he's going to hit the shot. He does lack the ability to create plays either for himself or teammates, but if he's playing with his dad and he's playing for the Lakers and really anywhere in the near future, he's not going to have the ball in his hands the majority of the game. His defense isn't the greatest. He could work on it, but he's already what I would label as a good defender, and he's only going to get better. I think you know where I'm going with this. He's your stereotypical 3-and-D type of player in the league. And oh yeah, too, this is also pretty important for players in the league. He's not going to cause any problems in the locker room. He doesn't care if he has a major role on a team or a minor role. He's going to give you 100% effort every single night. I do like that because it just seems like, I don't know if it's just because I've been watching more, but in the NFL and the NBA, there's so many divas and so many just crybabies. Going back to the statement, if Bronny's name was switched to John Smith, he would still be in the NBA. I'm going to assume, just because we don't have too much context, he's talking about currently, right now. To Rich Paul, hey man, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, buddy, but you're wrong, and that wouldn't happen. Currently, as to where it stands, Bronny James is a below-average basketball player. I'm not comparing him to people like me and you watching this video. I'm comparing him to the league. As a matter of fact, I'll go a step farther. At the college level currently, he's below average. In the NBA, he's below average. There's nothing special about his game whatsoever. And to get to the league, you've got to be special at some category or multiple ones. Somebody said Rich Paul would be working at Walmart if he wasn't LeBron's friend. It's one thing to hype up your client and to have their back, but this right here, it's just delusional. To Rich Paul, here'd be my word of advice, brother. Let's pump the brakes and not get ahead of ourselves here. You did a good job of getting Bronny drafted, but don't let that get to your ego too much. You know what this is? Okay, I was trying to figure out a good example for you guys, and I found the perfect one. This is the equivalent to when you're in high school and you ask out that one girl and you bag her, and she's like a, we'll say 7 out of 10. You get the 7 out of 10, you're like, well, let me try to see if I can start talking to this other girl too, and she's a 7.5 out of 10, and you bag her as well. You ask a couple of these chicks to go on dates, you're Snapchatting them, texting, whatever, they like you, and you feel like the man, you feel like nobody can stop you. And when you start talking to a couple of chicks that are kind of bad, like I said, 7.5 out of 10s, you start going for the 8. You're like, if I could get the 8, let me see if I can get the 8.5. If I can get the 8.5, let me see if I can get the 9s, and so on and so on. That's what happened to Rich Paul here. He's like, Bronny got drafted? Yeah, even if Bronny's name wasn't Bronny, if it was Matt B. Great, he'd be in the NBA. What's he going to say next year? If his name was Toby Maguire, he'd be an all-star candidate still or something like that? There's many more things I could say. I do want to talk about these couple of things because I found it pretty interesting. I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts down below. But Romany.